Hello and welcome to Songs Brew. I'm Zara.
I'm Julia, and today there's not gonna be my dishwasher because it's already finished. So we can basically start the podcast right away. And today we're gonna talk about how we used to be pirates, like musically.
Yes, this was one of my favorite ones that I've written in a really long time. It's super nostalgic, and I was trying to find because I've got tapes because I'm that old, but I also have CDs, and I could not find them. And they've like got and I think we mentioned it. They've got like hand drawn all little things all over them, and like signed it and stuff. But yeah, it was really nice to remember that. I don't know if we can get like arrested now for it, but
I hope not. I hope
me
not.
too.
Like I know we're gonna confess to some things in this podcast, but I hope we're not gonna be charged.
We could say like allegedly I used to have burned CDs, and allegedly I used to use peer-to-peer file sharing. Could say like that.
Yeah, same.
Mhm.
I think everyone did it
I think so.
because I think that there was a way to actually have music like
Hmm.
several years ago. So it was
Yeah.
like a solution that everyone used. I mean, I don't know a single person that didn't do it.
I think, yeah. So the other day I was on TikTok and there was somebody asking, like a much younger person, like, how did you used to find music? How did you used to do it? And the guy actually spoke about something and it kind of like triggered a memory for me. There was like they stitched it and they said, well, what we used to do was turn the radio on, put a tape in, and try and tape it. And it reminded me, and I was very young in primary school even, and I had a friend who was like, do you want to listen to some music? I was like, yeah, okay. And she got her tape out and it was of like the top 40 from the weekend before, and she was like fast forwarding it and rewinding it just to play the same song over and over again.
That-
And at the end of the song it was like the DJ saying, and that was, I can't even, I think it was a boy band or something. She was very into boy bands, and that was like, they say take that or whatever, Westlife, whatever it was, da, 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 da. And you always miss the last like few seconds of the music. And I was like, oh god, yeah. When I saw that, it's just following obviously our pirate thing, I was like, I wonder if there is people still doing that. And what I found
yeah.
was, yeah, what I found was this little hub on Reddit where people are still talking about places, and I'm not going to mention them, that you can go to do the file sharing. And it also, some research shows that it's on the increase
Oh my
because,
God.
yeah, people are starting to
In the
get back
music
into it.
era, we
Hmm.
still have pirates.
And I know, and it was so cool. Another thing that I absolutely loved was a decent chunk of our readers, because we put polls in a lot of them, responded that they used to, and maybe some do. I think there was maybe one person that says no, and I never would. I think
Oh,
like,
that's probably Gen Z kid.
yeah,
Oh,
because
sorry to this person if you're listening to it. I was joking.
I'm not joking. I think there's like a big demographic, like my age group, maybe quite a lot younger and quite a lot older. As soon as we got like home computers and there was all this stuff, and you're like, hang on a second, you can do all this like, and it was cool at the time, right? Because like you felt like a little hacker, like, oh, I'm gonna get this little
Oh
song, blah
yeah,
blah
that's
blah.
for sure. It felt like rebellious at some point that you're
Yes,
doing some kind of illegal stuff, but
yes.
you're not sure if it's illegal or not because this was the way how it was. So yeah.
Exactly. If you wanted, it always came with a risk, right? There was always a risk. One, you could get a virus and completely like total your computer. And at the
Yeah.
time, computers were really expensive. So you only really had one in the house, and you'd like, that's the end of that computer. The other is that you would download something that was 100% not what you were looking for. That was always a risk as well. But there also used to be a thing in the UK when all of this first started. Did you ever go to like a car boot sales, thrift store, thrifty kind of like things like that? There used to be people selling CDs, and so they would print out the actual artwork of the CD, and it was just a burned copy. And
Yeah.
I didn't buy it, whatever. I ended up with a US version of a Maroon 5 album. And so when I played it with my friends, we were like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like the one we've got. Because they had like the UK version and it was completely different. And I think so many people who would have downloaded albums at the time would have got a version that was not available in their country. And it kind of made it a little bit cooler.
Yeah,
I
that's,
think.
I remember before I discovered that I can actually download the file on the computer and then like put it on the CD. I remember that I was doing something like turning on a voiceover on my phone, like very old phone, like old Samsung that didn't have any features. You know what I mean? So I was putting like voiceover on, then turning on the song on my computer on the speaker, and then putting like my phone near to the speaker so I could have it on my phone because I didn't know how to download the file on my computer and then to my phone. So I was like doing like voiceover of the song on my phone from the computer.
Yes.
And then I was like, I remember I was playing outside of my house of some balls and stuff like that, and waiting for my friends. And I was like putting my phone into my pocket and playing the song all over again. And you can imagine how bad was the quality of that song.
I think it's kind of cool. I think I'll always have a soft spot for it, and this is something that we do talk about in the article. Is I feel like um, our access now is incredible. For
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
for sure.
$11 a month for most subscriptions. Some of them are a little bit more if they come with like
Yeah, and
cool
sometimes you can do
features.
it like for free if you like ads.
Exactly. If
And
you
you
can put
can
with
do
the
it
ads,
for
you can
free.
listen to anything. Like you quite literally have 100 million songs on any platform. And so I have a soft spot for it because I feel like you had to be so selective with, at that point, the playlist was a CD, a mixed CD. You had to be so selective because if you wrecked it or the file was corrupted or it didn't sound right when you played it back, you had to redo it. And I feel like there was so much more effort and thought put into what you would listen to and how you would listen to it because the internet was so slow, like at that
Yeah,
point, to download anything took forever. So you had to be really sure that that was the one that you wanted to listen to, because if you've
yeah,
got like multiple ones running, you'd have to leave the computer on for like overnight, running up the internet bill because you'd be on dial-up. Like the phone, you would not be, no one would be able to get through because you're desperate for this album. And I think I'll always have a soft spot for it because I feel like you really had to try to build your listening library, and it was all physical at that point, mostly physical. I mean, of course you could listen to it like on Winamp, oh my god, but you wanted it on CD really, and you wanted to put it in your CD player and your little whatever. And I think I'll always have a soft spot for that time.
yeah, I agree. And surely you had to be like really selective with the music that you want to listen to. And
Hmm.
it wasn't that easy as it is right now because right now you can like put a shuffle on and you have a lot of different songs, different genres, maybe some associated with the ones that you also like. But back in time, you would have to like literally listen to the song, like this song, then decide to actually download it. So you had to like it so much that you decided to take this effort to actually have it downloaded and pirated.
Yeah, exactly. Or because at that time CDs were quite expensive, you had to have a reasonable income. And when you're in secondary school and primary school, you don't have that income.
Yeah,
You don't have CD money. No one has CD money, or you'd have to save up or whatever. And I think so many people who would have been one of the first adopters for Spotify, because the Spotify model was based on piracy anyway. So many of the early adopters for that probably would have moved straight from piracy into Spotify and how that was, and then from there have just become subscribers because the value for them would be phenomenal because they know how difficult it was to start with. And some of the most interesting technological advances and how we interact with the internet and technology in general has come from the music industry, which to me like blows my mind a little bit. Um,
yeah, that's
yeah, because where did we start? Obviously, we started with the radio, which God love the radio, and then going back to the piracy, we'd record it with our little tapes and play that. Then we ended up with the internet in most houses. Obviously, not everyone had, so and people were selling the bootleg CDs and stuff like that. All very illegal. I'm not saying anyone should do it now or that we did it. I'm just saying it was around. And so we did, and then it went for mini disc players, the little square ones, and you'd have to set up a little thing that was plugged in and you record it, all that kind of stuff, to MP3 sticks, the iPod, and now we're literally walking around with like biggest music libraries possible in our pockets. But I still think that might be one of the coolest kind of
Yeah.
eras in
I
terms of.
mean, basically, I think that that time in my life, when I
Mhm.
was like this little child and didn't have any problems or anything, that was the best time of my life, actually. And I didn't mind going out with the huge MP3 player with the
Yep.
headphones on, plugged into the MP3 player, which was like huge, huge ball, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
And I remember that I was so happy when I got a new one for like
Mhm.
Christmas or birthdays, I don't know. But that was like kind of magical, I think.
I think so. I had a Sony Walkman,
Yeah,
and
that one too.
yeah, and the ugliest headphones you've ever seen in your life. But they were the tiny little soft pads.
Yes,
I would never use them now, but those tiny little soft pads, and I'd have the Walkman actual body thing shoved in a pocket of a denim jacket, really old. I still actually have the jackets, like I love it, shoved in the pocket. And our math teacher used to be like, "Oh, you're allowed to listen to some music while you study." So I was listening to a bootleg of Missy Elliott in the middle of my maths class on my Walkman, and the batteries ran out.
oh no, that's the worst.
Yes, and I didn't have batteries just like carried around loose in my bag and stuff like that. And it's also like if you wanted to listen to more than one artist, you had to have a bag full of CDs with you, you had to have spares
Yes,
with you. And it's like, what were we really doing? Like we were really trying to do something there. But yeah, I think back to that, and I think, yeah,
and I
I
think
do miss
actually
it.
that it was that life back then was actually easier than it is right now. Also, like musically speaking,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because like obviously there was a lot of music out there that you could listen to, but I love the fact that you actually had to be selective, and then like you had your specific music taste, not overwhelmed with new music, new artists all over time. I mean, it's cool right now as well. Like there are two sides of it, but actually, when I was like remembering this stuff, I'm like, I actually loved it, and I remember that I one time we were getting back from school with my best friend and her dad pick us up, and there was like this one song on the radio that we both heard for the first time, and we both loved it at the same time, and we spent like 2 weeks searching the internet what was this song.
Yeah.
And it was like we were like putting so much effort after the school to actually look up for this song, to manage to actually find it. And that was like really cool, and this is like a really nice memory of me and her, and that we still like listening to this song and like playing it, singing to it. And it's kind of
Mhm.
viral at this time, but yeah, that is like a cool memory to actually have it, and it's like a connection between us as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because the only way you used to be able to get lyrics, so going back to like you could type a lyric now in and it'll come up, that's
Yeah.
like they're everywhere. The only way to
You
get
can
lyrics
tag
was,
them on and then you have it.
yeah, it used to be just only in the sleeve of the CD, the original CD. So if you had a burned copy or a bootleg copy, or you only heard it on the radio, you wouldn't be able to find it based on lyrics. You could do that now, but you wouldn't be able to then because there just wasn't so many. I think there was probably a couple of forums dedicated to trying to work out lyrics, but then I remember listening to music and trying to write the lyrics as I thought they were. And many years later, when I've looked, I'm like, wow, I did not understand a single word this person was saying because these lyrics don't make sense. So, but that's really cool. That's a lovely memory. I think
Yeah,
that's so
and I remember
nice.
we were searching the radio stations like on the
Mm.
internet to see what they were playing, and like trying all the songs next one, and like next and next and next and next. You know what I mean? We can cut
Yeah.
it off. I can put my words up anyway.
Don't worry, I
No, we
stuttered
didn't
my
do
way
podcast
through.
in 2 weeks, and this is the result. Basically, like, we're playing songs after song, and we finally found it, but it took so much time. Imagine 2 weeks looking for one song,
Yeah.
and skip
Yeah.
every other that didn't match the lyrics, the instrumental, the voice. We were just skipping, and yeah. and we eventually found it. So
That's cool. Imagine how many songs that we heard over that period where it was impossible to search for that we never ever managed to find again or never heard again.
yeah, and I saw this trend on TikTok that people are like humming and like doing this stuff, and they are searching for music, and they're like, please somebody tell me what this song is titled, because I remember I heard it, but I don't know the words, I don't know the vocals, anything. I just remember like this sort of instrumentals or something, and then people like are commenting with stuff. So this is like, I like TikTok and social media for this kind of stuff, that you can
Yes.
always have a support to find something that you are looking for.
Yeah, I agree.
So big shout out to TikTok and this trend and somebody who
We
actually
love
came up with it.
TikTok. We love TikTok. Every episode we put out, somebody mentions TikTok. But I think it's because it has everything that we want.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It literally has everything. So one of the questions that we asked in the newsletter was, what did we lose? And I think, even though I was going to ask that, I think we've kind of covered it. I think we lost a lot of the excitement around finding new music, how active you had to be, how specific you had to be, how limited everything was. I think we lost all of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like right now we have everything on board.
Oh,
What you
yeah.
want, you have it. And
And
even if you don't want something, then you still have it.
yeah, you still got it. That's kind of weird to think that you could open Spotify or Tidal or whatever you want now and type in a random word, any random word, and you will have hundreds of songs with that word in or artists with that word
Yeah.
in. And it's so crazy that we have that in our pocket all day long or in fingertips, whatever, in comparison to having a little thumb drive or a CD with 12 tracks on.
Yeah,
It's
and imagine that people who are gonna be born like right now,
mhm,
nowadays, they're gonna have it.
yeah.
They're not gonna have to go through all this effort that we took to listen to our favorite song or find it. So that is actually sad, because I think it's like killing the innocence of some kind of point.
Yeah, I actually think it's sad because we grew up kind of ahead of having the internet for a bit, with the internet, first having to learn to use it, got to see, or I did at least, see all of the advancements in how we can interact with music. And it seems kind of sad that their version is just going to be a streaming service. And then, so, but I also think right now there's a kind of like revival of vinyl, and CDs are also picking
Yeah,
up. Pirating is also picking up. And so it, to me, it's kind of a matter of time, I think, before people start going back to that. And maybe if we're lucky, and if the people who are born right now and in the last 5 years and in the next 5 years, if they're lucky, they'll be surrounded by people that are interested in those things. So they will still get some of the experience that we had, that I think is irreplaceable. And I also feel like it means when you did go through all of that, you have a higher appreciation for physical music, yes, but also digital too, to the point where, and this was a point that we made in there, we now pay like almost nothing for the music that we listen to. I'm not saying pirating is better, but it did take a lot more effort to do. But now we pay almost nothing, and the artists get paid almost nothing. And I'm
yeah,
like, stealing versus streaming, I actually don't know. I don't know. One's legal, sure, because licensing, but a lot of artists way back when, the only reason they were popular is because they were highly pirated, and because everybody wanted to listen to it,
yeah,
they
that's true.
gained so much traction on forums, so much traction on the sharing sites. Everybody wanted their stuff, and from there, when it was legal to stream them, when Spotify started and all that kind of stuff, they had massive bumps straight away. They were big straight away. They were highly requested on radio stations and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I struggle a little bit. And we finished on this point. We used to be pirates, now we are poor paying customers. And I think I might die on that hill because,
Yeah, I think it's actually totally on point, because no matter how sad it sounds, it's actually true.
when you work out how much an artist will get paid for 1,000 streams or 1,000,000 streams or whatever amount of streams, it doesn't seem, I don't know, it doesn't seem to balance out.
Yeah, it's just not
Yeah,
accurate.
I think I struggle with Spotify. I have done for a long time. I'm not, no, I'd say I'm like mostly anti Spotify when it comes to listening to music, but I think I might also be going like anti streaming almost. I feel like I'm almost there. But the convenience keeps me here. That's like, so
Yeah,
I don't know what
actually,
to do. Yeah.
well, nowadays I think mostly all of us are comfortable people. Like
Hmm.
we used to, I don't know what I want to say anyway, forget about it. We
I
started to be used to being comfortable, basically,
Yeah.
to have
And everything
everything.
being easy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that does lead to a lot of laziness.
Yeah, we like easy solutions.
Yeah, that's
I don't
it.
know, maybe because we are busy nowadays, like life's different. You don't have that much time like you used to have. I don't know. It's like kind of blowing my mind
Mhm.
because there are like strong thoughts, going on and a little bit nostalgic as well.
I read an interesting piece of research that I just want to mention just before we come to the end. I read that studies done, like people who do still pirate music and use of pirate music, are the ones who are most likely to pay higher amounts for live music and pay higher amounts for things like vinyl and CDs.
Yeah, that might be true.
So, and I think that's really interesting. It's like being a bit of a Robin Hood in the music. So, we'll download your album for sure for free, but then we'll buy a vinyl copy and we'll buy a t-shirt and we'll go to your gig. So, I'm wondering if that balances out better than people who pay for a streaming service and that's the end of it. I don't know.
I mean, I think it's also the way how you support the artist.
Hmm.
Like you can be stick to the streaming music, but if you like the specific artist, like their music or anything, you're gonna support them in any way that's possible.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And I also just want to mention one more thing is that when we put this poll out in the thingy, the results are 83% of people who responded to the poll used to pirate. Yes,
We're
which
one
is a
of them.
lot. Yeah, which is a massive amount, and we had a really obviously this a very small response of like, no, we never did, no, we wouldn't. I don't know. I miss the anticipation of the file finishing. I miss the buying of blank mini discs and CDs because you could still do it now, but it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah,
And that's
it's
it.
not.
Like it's something that we've kind of lost because it's just so unnecessary now. There's no reason to, or I can't see the reason to do it anymore. I can listen to as many albums as I want all day long, and if you pay for a subscription like Spotify, you can download them and listen to them offline as well. Like you don't even have to be online. It's too easy.
Yeah,
But I do miss it.
I
I
think
do.
I miss it too because I remember when I was like looking at and searching something in car, and I found those CDs that I made like, I don't know, 15 or 20, maybe not 20, but 15 years ago, something like that. And I was like, oh my God, what is it? And I like, okay, let's play it. And I put it in the car. And then I had like, immediately I get this like flashbacks
Yeah.
of these songs. And I was like, oh my God, I used to love them. I have so many memories with those songs. And I was like, I'm gonna listen to the whole CD until I
Mm.
get to the place that I wanted to go. And I was listening to it actually. Then my friend came in, and we were like both listening to those songs, and we were like, "Oh my God, do you remember when we were doing this and this song played?" And I was like, "Yeah," and that was amazing, I think.
I love
And
that.
right now we're so lazy,
Yeah.
especially that we have Bluetooth in the car. So I'm like turning the engine on, and I'm like connected to Bluetooth, and I was like, "Okay, play this one," and I'm
Hmm.
playing my playlist from Spotify. Totally forgot that there is something like CDs at some point.
Yeah. Well, I bought a,
But I loved listening to CDs when I was going on
yeah.
a trip, like a drive trip, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
even with my parents, and we were like all listening to those songs. And I remember that one time when we were like going to our cabin house, my dad played a CD of some pirate music, obviously, and there were like really old songs that my parents used to listen when they were younger. like they were teenagers maybe.
Oh,
And they were like, oh my God, this is our favorite song. We used to listen to this when we were like in love, because right now they're more like partners.
that's so
but,
cute.
but that was so cute. That was so cute. I was like, oh my God, really? And they were like, yeah, this was our favorite song. We used to dance to it, sing to it. And they were like singing all the songs all the way until we get to the cabin house. That was like really, I think that this is one of the best memory of my parents that I have. And yeah. And right now when I play this song, even on the streaming or it's just like on the radio, I'm like, oh my God, this is their song. This is the one. Yeah.
That's so nice. Did they have, I don't know if you had like a, it was like a little zip folder thing, and when you
Yes,
opened it, all
yes,
the
yes.
CDs were in the pocket. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah,
And
we
you
do
just have
have it.
loads of them.
Yeah, my dad and my mom, they're really organized and they have to like have everything organized, like really aesthetic. So yeah,
Yeah.
they have it, and I think that my dad still have it in his car right now.
I think one of my most favorite pieces of stereo tech was we had a multi CD disc changer, so you could put like seven in, and so you could select the
Yeah, yeah, you
different
could like
discs.
switch it. Yeah.
I used to love that. Oh, maybe I need to buy a CD player. I don't know. And then start buying CDs. I actually only have, I think, one. I've got a bunch of tapes, but I only have one actual CD purchased, and it came with a vine. It came with one of the vinyls I bought. The rest are somewhere, and they're all scrawled, and I have no idea what's on them because I didn't write like. That's the thing, right? Mine are all random.
Yeah.
I didn't write the track list. I just drew pictures on it.
Yeah, same. I think that most of our CDs are not even titled. We don't know what's on them. And
Yeah.
we're like, okay, let's play this and see what happens.
Oh, well, that is our half an hour up. So thank you for joining us. I've been Zara.
Have been Julia. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.